I'm Renee.
And I'm Jim, and we work together as a team in creating this glass art.
Jim blows the glass vessels, and so he starts with colored glass, does several layers of clear glass over that. So when he blows the piece, it ends up being essentially a clear vessel with a thin layer of colored glass on the inside. So once the piece is cooled, then I take them to my studio, and I cut the shapes out of a heavy-duty resist, and then give it back to Jim, and he sandblasts it, and wherever it's not protected, it blasts away the thin layer of colored glass, leaving the designs behind. A piece like this, we then mask off the outside as well, and sandblast inside and outside until we carve away the top edge.
We are so fortunate to live in a wetland in Wisconsin. It's a former trout hatchery that now has naturalized, and so we're constantly looking at streams and ponds and reeds and grasses and things that are moving, and we try to recreate that sort of feeling and movement in our work. Well, some pieces take a long time. As Renee mentioned, I do the blowing, and after the piece is blown and cold and ground, it goes to Renee's studio. Well, it may speak to her right away and she'll go to work on it, or it may sit in the studio for a year before it sort of offers some inspiration to go forward. And again, a lot of our pieces or most of our pieces are inspired by our experiences in this wetland.
We're pretty much interested in capturing the spirit of the place where we live, and generally if we describe that, people say, I see it, and that's really rewarding. We actually encourage people to touch our work because it is very tactile, and they're usually surprised when they touch it. We almost always work with transparent colors because we're working with the light, and going for the reflections, the shadows that are almost as interesting as the pieces themselves, are more interesting.
If you look in nature, all the colors we use are there, and so that's the palette we draw from. And we like to create pieces where you not only see this surface, but because they're transparent, you also see through, and it's sort of like the experience of seeing things just moving peripherally in the wind.